This is the aircraft carrier shelter you seized, previously owned by a small faction of about 800 people. Now, it's entirely yours. Although you lost over 500 members, you finally have your shelter. After clearing the bodies, you sorted the supplies on board. The last faction stored a lot of canned goods and grew various vegetables. For the first time in 3 years, you enjoyed fresh food. As the squad leader, you got your own private bedroom. Lying on the large bed felt like life before the apocalypse. But you're still not used to the swaying at sea. Next door is the shared bedroom. Your teammates were just settling in, loud and noisy from the excitement. You didn't bother them, since you know tomorrow could be everyone's last day.
Let me guess. You're thinking about going to therapy. And as a therapist myself, of course I'm going to say that's a great idea. But first, let's talk about the things they don't tell you. First of all, you're going to say, I'm fine, like 300 times. Spoiler alert, your therapist will see right through that. And how does that make you feel? Yes, they actually use this phrase. And yes, they actually want to know the answer. Then there's the crying. Like 1 minute you're talking about your raise that you got at work, and then the next minute you're talking about how when you were 6 years old, your mom left you in the aisle in the grocery store because she went to the next aisle to get some milk because she thought that you were right there next to her. Come to find out, that's when your abandonment issues started. And homework. Yes, there's homework. But here's the thing. By the end of it, therapy could actually make you feel better. And you'll be like, why didn't I start this sooner?
Said it themselves. They've declassified a lot of information proving and finding many unidentified flying objects in the sky. Even American pilots have seen many of them, but at the time it was all sealed. After all, the world is vast, and the universe is even more boundless. It's hard to say what can happen, but it's possible there are technologically advanced beings that surpass us, beings that are more advanced than Earth. But watching this film, it's clear to me that it's definitely not a drone. Why? Because just look at the cloud layers. The brightness of a drone wouldn't be this intense. No matter how bright a drone is, it wouldn't reach this level. The brightness shining through the clouds, showing it's above the cloud layer, and still being that bright is impressive. From the witnesses' observations, it changes speed quickly. Unlike airplanes which follow a certain flight path, these objects change rapidly. So I think it's likely that this is the UFU fleet, with many U-5s appearing simultaneously over Jiangzhou.
It's like nothing they've ever seen. A strange, giant white circle hanging over the city of Melbourne.
Within this sort of outer band, there was lots of little dot speckled areas.
When I first saw pictures of these spiral images, I thought to myself, there's no possible way these could be natural.
The disk spans an area of tens of thousands of square miles across Southeast Australia, reaching out to the island of Tasmania off the south coast. The spiral mystifies Australia's meteorologists.
This sort of situation is quite abnormal. Something quite wrong is going on.
wave will be the electromagnetic weapon. And that is what we are facing now. And that's why this document is so important. Because if we're going to survive this, we need to take measures to protect our health, to avoid being targets, and especially to build up our own immune system and our own bodily strength. And they offer information on how you can do that. And I'd like to end by saying that I am extremely worried about the children. And that's why today I wanted to do a live stream, because during the lockdown, as we've seen again from this document, it was actually this is a global agenda, and because I'm international, I see how this agenda is playing out across the world, because I see the repetition. I see the identical repetition in each country. And so I see that measures have been put in place for children to be removed from their homes. And we know that the lockdown measures included the speeded up installation of 5G. And we know, and you can see here in Vienna, I've been shocked to see how many enormous antennas have been installed immediately outside schools, nurseries, kindergartens. It's horrifying. And I'm also told that WiGig has been widely installed in British schools. So I have to warn parents, do not send your children to school, because the second wave is going to be the electromagnetic radiation. And the intention is to declare that the children have been affected by, and they're quarantining the school, and parents may never see their children again.
How do they do that? How do they turn a family member against you?
So everyone in the United States, so if you look, a summary of our main message is, number one, everyone in the United States, and it appears to be most of the world, are being tracked by certain satellites. And these satellites are called GPS satellites. And they are the latest technology. All of this is done with a top secret clearance. They have more than 190 satellites under their direct control. They track the precise location of every US citizen by bouncing a microwave beam right here on the top back part of your head. And if you place your hand there firmly, put your knuckles right above it, you can actually feel the microwave pulses. They're about once per second. Everyone in the United States is tracked. Every person that I have tested with my own hand, I can feel the microwave pulse. And these weapons produce a microwave scalar beam. In other words, this is a new type of technology that operates under a very mysterious wave. It's called a scalar wave. And it is apparently part of the deep state plan to monitor, track, and surveil everyone on the planet.
Oh, okay, great.
They aren't particular just to U.S. citizens. We have found that this is a global program. About a year ago, I counted more than 6.
Do y'all feel anything? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you feel the scalar beam on the back of your beam? I don't know if I do. It could just be because he said it. Let me know in the next video. Should I go deeper into that? Do you feel the scalar beam? Let's get back to the video though. I think I do.
We did a gang wiretap. We call them T3s. That's right, where we listen to social media apps, where we listen to cell phones and their communication through court orders. telephone calls, and social media. Oh yeah, gang members, listen up. We can intercept your social media. You can't pay attention to all that hype you hear. We got it, and we got them because of it. As a result of intercepting 9 court-ordered intercepts, we were able to obtain 12 racketeering charges with gang enhancement. First-degree felony of racketeering is 30 years. When you do a gang enhancement, it's life. Our goal.
I don't even know why people bother to even do crimes anymore. Like, that's crazy. Y'all just want to get life, huh? Like.
So I heard this argument in court today. The man didn't have a driver's license, and he said that it is against his constitutional rights for the state of Texas to give him a job and not pay him. And the judge was confused. He said, "What are you talking about?" He said that the driver's license is for a commercial operator's license. So if I have to have this license, then I am employed by the state, and the state is not paying me. I have to drive someone everywhere they need to go, and I'm not getting paid for it, but I'm required to have a license so I can charge. I am being extorted to perform a job for the state for free. I have to have this license to drive a vehicle, but I am not being paid to drive the vehicle, even though I have to have the license to take this vehicle everywhere I need to go. Under the freedom to travel, anything that is a right cannot be a privilege, because privileges can be revoked. Well, you have turned the right of travel into occupation, and you're not paying me for it. The judge said he had to get back to him on that, and I was like, I ain't never heard it argued like that.
Driver's license is one of the major instruments that is used politically to sustain slavery. When they gave you that driver's license, it was to incorporate you as a corporate person, was not an instrument for identification. It has a picture that represents you, and then it has some phonetic writing on the front that sounds like the name that you have, but that's not you. The picture can't represent you, and the name does not represent you. That name represents a private corporation, or what they call often a straw man too. You notice that grammatically it's...
There's DIY, and there's doing it yourself. It's the difference between being creative and being a creator. Between a homemade recipe and a household name. Between a daydream and a dream job. It's your business, your hard work. You do it yourself. Create your website on Wix.
It's incorrect. Why is it incorrect? You capitalize nouns. If you don't capitalize a noun, then it must not be a noun. But if all the letters are capitalized, it's not a proper noun, is it? It's grammatically incorrect if it's directed at a person. Why do you think that was done? Do you think it's accidental? The fact that it expires proves what to you relative to identity? Does your identity expire? Well, why does your identity expire with the driver's license? Because it's not an identification. It's a proof of contract. It's a prima facie instrument used to regulate your economy. They listed you as Negroes, blacks, and colors as corporations and list you as foreigners, and that your working is a corporate activity for capital gains. By you being Smith, Jones, and Johnson, it automatically puts you as a ward of the state so they can impose upon you that license in the first place.
Research, yep. A birth certificate is a bond. It's on bond paper. It has a QSIP number. A security, it's a security. It has an identifiable number to where you can locate this bond on bond paper on a stock exchange, for example. So a birth certificate is a bond on bond paper. A CESTA QV trust account is also the type of social security account you have. This comes shortly after this, okay? And your social security account that your social security number is attached to is technically a SESTA-KV or SESTA-QV trust account. However you pronounce it, everybody pronounces it different. We're not taught this stuff. SESTA-KV, I'll say, trust account. That is a trust account, guys, okay? And it starts here. So what happens is they come up to you, you're drugged up maybe on painkillers, and they give you a stack of papers. They say, pick a name, and here's a stack of legal paperwork, and they want you to sign here to register your baby with the Department of Human Resources. We are literally, unknowingly, under duress, without full and honest disclosure, giving title to your baby to the state as a human resource. A human resource. You ever thought about that? We're literally human resources, all right? And so you get registered.
See, I want people to take the time to realize, like, why things are the way they are. Why we still pay taxes when we're not in a state of war. We only used to pay taxes because if we got into a war, that helps fund our protection for the war so we can keep fighting, right? So why are we still being taxed now when we're not in war? We're going to see more on this. I just want people to understand. Put your feelings to the side. What the news, every news station, what it's used for is to antagonize you. It's to get you in your feelings and your emotions. It's to get you out there acting outside of yourself so that you can be blind to actually what's going on. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's keep going, though.
Trump is proposing to eliminate the IRS, wiping out taxes for 90% of Americans and shifting the financial burden to foreign nations. And everyone's asking the same question. Will it work? The IRS brings in over $4 trillion a year, but Trump wants it gone. Why? Because instead of taxing Americans directly, he wants to abolish federal income tax and replace the entire system with a national consumption model. This removes invasive audits and wage garnishments, all of it. But it only works if the government can generate revenue from somewhere else, which brings us to number 2, no federal income tax for anyone earning $150K or less per year. This is going to cover over 90% of Americans, but what does it mean? Higher take-home pay, a surge in consumer spending, more startups, more side hustles, more private investments. It's a middle-class stimulant with built-in viral economic impact. But yes, it requires a new system to replace the $1.7 trillion in revenue, which brings me to number 3, the External Revenue Service taxing these foreign nations. If you want access to U.S. buyers, you pay. If you want to sell goods to us, you pay. And if you exploit the American markets, you pay. This is how nations like China, Germany, and Mexico start funding U.S. programs without taxing citizens. Now, let's talk about the massive tariffs on imported goods. America imports over $3.1 trillion in goods annually. Trump wants to impose a 20 to 25% tariff, which brings us to about $600 to $800 billion in revenue. You're going to see some short-term inflation. That's the risk. But the long term, the U.S. revives its manufacturing, creates jobs, and brings in supply chains back home. Now, let's talk about corporate tax reduction from 21% to 15%. Now, this is going to supercharge businesses. It incentivizes foreign companies to relocate to the U.S., corporations to reinvest profits domestically, private owners to scale aggressively without IRS pressure. Lower taxes equals higher profits equals bigger markets equals more jobs. That's economic gravity. The bottom line, it works. If you're a worker, you keep more of your money. If you're a business owner, you'll pay less tax and you'll scale faster. If you're an investor, you'll see explosive market activity. If you're a manufacturer, you're going to finally compete on U.S. soil again. Trump's strategy shifts the tax burden from American families to foreign economies. And if the infrastructure holds, it will transform the U.S. into the world's most tax-efficient, investment-driven superpower. Got questions? Drop them in the comments. This is part of my high-level business series where I break down how to protect your assets, build tax-free wealth, and stay 10 moves ahead. If you're not already structured to win under this plan, it's time to change that. And for more information like this, continue to follow the business giant. Trump.
Say you got a plug rate And every time you go to him, it's $20, $20.
This is for my hood niggas that you need to, you know what I'm saying? You need to hear it a different way. I got you. You know, your boy Dre got you.
It's $20 for an eighth. Then the next time you go to him, he tells you it's $40. And you ask him, you like, yo, what you doing? It's $20. And he like, nah, my plug, he charging me 10%. Like he adding on tax. So now I gotta tax you to make my profit. So now the same bud you been getting, the same amount is now 40 instead of 20 because of the newly added tax, right? That's basically what the economy is going through right now with the new tariffs and shit. Like all the imported goods is getting taxed, some more than others. So that means all the stuff that you like to buy that's imported from like China and different areas is gonna get raised because they gotta add money to the final sale so they can make their profit too, you feel me? They're not just gonna eat the tariffs and just sell the shit at the same price. They gotta raise their prices because it's costing more to bring it in.
When Trump did this, it has nothing to do with paper straws. It has everything to do with your straw man, your birth certificate. You're a sovereign national now, slave no more.
Congratulations, you've been played, duped, hoodwinked by one of the most insidious lies ever sold to the public. The stoic warrior, the noble savage, the vanishing race. These myths were not organic. They were manufactured, pushed into the public consciousness by a network of elites who needed indigenous erasure to be complete. Edward Curtis wasn't just some well-meaning photographer trying to preserve Native American culture. He was a weapon of mass deception. His work was instrumental in crafting the myth of the vanishing Indian. His staged, manipulated depictions of indigenous people rewired history, embedding a false image into the public psyche, one that still clouds the truth today. His magnum opus, The North American Indian, was a 20-volume series with over 40,000 photographs, and you'll never guess who it was funded by.
Now, we're going to do a thinking exercise like we always do. But ask yourself, why did Trump give the schools the ability to take certain books out of the circulation to teach certain things? See, what they do is Fox News and all these other places, whatever, not just calling out one single thing, but the news propagates things that's going to make you, you know, choose a side and fight amongst each other, which is crazy to me. I love both. I love all of y'all, you know, but at the same time, we have to start thinking together on this. We've been lied to since we were children on purpose about the history of the place we live. But our ancestors they knew. But when we went to school, see, we went through generations of we had the factories and stuff here in the United States, right? Why do you think they moved overseas? Now, when you talk to your ancestors, you'll understand that's when the drugs started to come into the community. Everybody was thriving. We were doing great, right? Then the drugs came and ravaged our communities. They moved all the factories and stuff eventually overseas, right? For cheaper labor. People lost jobs. Cities turned more violent. Now, look at your map. Look at the most violent cities in our country. Let me know if you agree that we had the biggest factories in these places. And when they went overseas, what people were fighting for scraps now. Everybody lost their jobs.
When you shop in the Jewel Osco app, you can count on us to choose fresh produce, guaranteed. Even if you can't count on mom to eat her veggies.
Those with Robinhood Gold can enjoy a 3% IRA match. Tremendous.
The people that weren't on drugs. Y'all peep the play? They propagate and they tell you about our history, things that didn't happen the way that they happened. They have a budget to create films to show you things that aren't true. But we're gonna keep going though, man. Let me know how y'all feel about this in the comments down below.
That's right. We heard from the UK luxury car maker Jaguar Land Rover over the weekend that they're going to be halting shipments of their cars to the United States for the month of April. The company says this is a short-term action while they assess their medium and long-term plans. JLR, which is owned by Tata Motors, is highly exposed to the U.S. market. It generates 1/4 of its sales in the U.S. but has no manufacturing capabilities here. So JLR is poised to be impacted very severely by these new tariffs. And we're seeing similar lines of thinking from other automakers in Europe as they try to assess the impact here. Just this afternoon, we heard that Volkswagen's Audi is holding back cars that arrive in the U.S. ports after April 2nd, again, while they assess what to do medium long term.
Predicted Donald Trump's death on April 12th, 2025. The Simpsons did it again. In an episode that few remember, the iconic animated series showed a chilling scene of a character resembling Donald Trump being carried in a coffin with the date April 12th, 2025 appearing in the background. Now this date is causing a stir on social media, and many are wondering if this could be another one of the show's predictions coming true. In the scene, a character surprisingly similar to Trump is surrounded by political figures who are arguing passionately. Suddenly, an unexpected situation leads to the character collapsing while the media announces the end of his time with headlines on screen that read, "The end of an era." What's most unsettling is the clock in the background showing 3:12, which some interpret as a reference to April 12, 2025. Theories have quickly emerged. Some claim this scene could be a metaphor for the end of his political influence, while others believe it might be a literal prediction. The Simpsons have a remarkable history of foreseeing global events, from Trump's presidency to scientific discoveries. Could this be another of their shocking revelations? While we can't know what will happen on April 12, 2025, this scene leaves us with more questions than answers. Could it be the end of an era, as rumors suggest, or just an eerie coincidence? One thing is for sure, The Simpsons always manage to keep us on edge with their surprising visions of the future. What do you think? Is it just a coincidence?
Easter is a very special day for many reasons. For me, for a lot of our friends, that's a very special day. And what a great timeline this would be. Easter as our timeline, what a great timeline that would be. For 3 years, we've embarked on a great national project.
This is Hanks, bro. And Hanks is not who you think he is. Not even a little bit. Hanks likes to post pictures of lost gloves, boots, and all this other stuff. In my 43 years of life, I've never found as many lost gloves, boots, and stuff as Tom Hanks has found. And for this one on his IG, Tom Hanks, his Instagram, official Instagram, the caption is "Lost in Disneyland, but turned into the lost and found." Hanks, a little kid's, people want to say, well, he found that stuff. Really? Look at this tie that he allegedly found. Look how clean this tie is. This is placed there. This was not found there or anywhere else. This was placed and then a picture was taken, caption saying, "Looks like Alan Bean, Apollo 12, left his tie in the ocean storm." How about this one? Beware. Who climbed out of the sewer? Hanks. Who have we seen climb out of sewers? What videos have we been seeing circulating about people climbing out of sewers? Or how about this lost sandal with sand mixed on the outside, but the inside is clean as day? Found at the bottom.
Y'all keep watching, man. This thing gonna turn up.
Bottom of the sea, one girl shoe to claim one Neptune 4466. Do you want to know where that takes you when you put that into the inner? That's right. Right here. One Neptune 4466 Wayfair. I can't even tell you what Wayfair has been allegedly guilty of because obviously we can't post that here, but if you know, you know. Or how about this glove that was placed there because it's clean as day. It was not lost. First of the year. What do you mean first of the year, Hanks? What's first of the year? What are you talking about as first of the year? Or how about this one? Look at how clean and blue this is with the gloves inside. Nice shade of blue, but lost is lost. Lost as in no longer with it? Or this one, sock, glove, lost, abandoned, question mark? So many questions. I don't have questions. I know exactly what happened. This one's super disturbing. A little girl lost a shoe and that couch is gonna get towed. Nothing to do with the couch, everything to do with the shoe. Are you telling me you're walking down the street and you film a couch with a little girl's shoe on top? I've never taken out my trash and placed a little lost item on top of a couch or any other item. They're in bags. But you, Mr. Tom Hanks, for whatever reason, is the only human in the entire world that is prevalent to finding lost items of shoes, socks, sandals, and all this other stuff that belongs. Only one though. Never. Another example, Land of Enchantment, Lost Gloves. And for this one right here, this one's funny as heck. The rocks were placed on the outside, the edges are clean, none of it has any debris that was placed there, muddled in the dirt, mixed, and then a picture was taken. Historic Route 66. And guess when this picture was taken? Right around Cappy's. Now this one is just mind-boggling. This is from a music album or whatever, right? Music from Joseph, Peters Henry, whatever. Joseph Luca, I'm sorry. What are you sorry about, Hanks? What is anybody sorry about? Where is this child? Can we find this child? Can anyone locate this person and tell me that he's okay, please? Let this be the final lost. How many freaking pacifiers are you finding, Tom Hanks? I found zero pacifiers in the street, and I've traveled the country. Yet you said that let this be the last final lost pacifier of 2019? Are you expecting to find more in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025? What the heck? Are you serious? And this is new. This isn't dirty. There is no filth. I have children. There is no anything on this that says that a child was using this for a long time. Perfect color, clean and everything. Let it be the last one. I can keep going and going and going and going and going. Must have been very hot coffee. But we know who's behind all this. We just can't say it out loud. Yeah, it's from his official Instagram. You telling me you found this brand new shoe? Just one shoe off of a woman? I've dated a lot of women. I've been around a lot of women. I have a lot of sisters. I know females. There's no way they will leave their one brand new shoe with the stiletto still attached to it and bounce unless they were in a hurry, scared, or had to get out of there. That was placed there. There's zero dirt on top, no debris on the bottom. No. Mitten, shoe, hat, don't know. What I do know is that everything is not as it seems. And Mr. Tom Hanks, the world knows, bro. The world knows that you were in a movie where a little child became an adult and dated a grown-ass person. That's... How long are we gonna let this go on? How long until these people answer for their atrocities, their evil? If you go on his website, I have more than 20 pictures of missing gloves, and all this other stuff that has gone down. But obviously, this video will get 400 views on TikTok because I'm shadow banned. Because if you speak the truth, you will not get elevated in the FYP. Maybe I should shake my ass in a thong for people to fucking recognize.
Alright, so my question is, what weirdos are liking those pictures? I seen certain posts like, that's people blindly follow like these celebrities and just love everything that they do. 160,000 likes on an abandoned shoe is diabolical to me. But look, keep watching. We got more to show, man.
So I'm in my hotel room and I'm on the floor under the sink cleaning up, and I decide to look up. Oh my fucking God.
Hey there. You're listening to State of Survival Radio. Calling all survivors who can hear this, please come to our shelter right away. We've built a safe place here with clean water.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my God. What the fuck? Oh my God. Dad? We're gonna have to figure out who was in this room with their dad. This is insane. Oh my God. Dad. Help. Oh my God. So I called the police. They are on the way out here. I guess I'll let y'all know if anybody cares what happens or what they decide to do. This is ridiculous. So once the police officer got here, he looked under the sink and practically said there was nothing he could do. He said because I've been in this hotel room for 2 months, they're probably long gone. But I feel like that's bullshit because, hold on. That camera is right outside of my door. So whoever was in this room, anybody who comes into this room, that camera should catch it. And I mean, it's a hotel. Like, they should have the records of... They should be able to find a man and a little girl who was in this room. It should not be hard. That's what their records are for, correct? So they basically tell me it's nothing they can do. They even went so far as to call it graffiti. Told me to call the front desk in the morning and tell them about it, which I did. She came up here and looked at it, took some pictures, and told me she's going to have somebody come up here and paint over it. It doesn't seem like anybody cares. I don't...
And that's the problem that we're having. Because if you got to think about it there, if there's a camera on the outside, you can easily go to certain time frames and see who's walking in, a man and a child, and narrow it down to certain suspects. But nobody wants to step up and do that. I think, this is me thinking, laziness. On top of that, I think a lot of people are afraid to start to, because it's a lot of people with a lot of bread, and this has been going on for a very long time. You understand? You only can say so much about this, because if you say so much, nobody's coming to your aid to save you, man. For speaking the truth nowadays, it's not a thing. But are y'all tracking?
In the 1850s, just after the last reset, there began a massive push to reintroduce technology, culture, and even people to the world. World's fairs had these massive exhibits called live infant incubators. These exhibits were insanely popular, drawing millions of visitors. They even had nurses in uniforms acting like caretakers. The babies weren't premature. They were being artificially gestated. This wasn't just a medical breakthrough. This was unfathomably advanced technology. Artificial wombs, mass baby production. Sounds a whole lot like a new world being repopulated after something big went down.
Hear me out, fam. Hear me out, fam. Yo, listen, this video is not gonna be for everybody. This is only for the woke people that have been down that rabbit hole. I'm talking about way, way down that rabbit hole. Now, y'all know the story of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? It's about some turtles that live in the sewers that enjoy eating pizza. Reptiles who live underground that eat pizza. Now, if you woke enough, you know there's a certain group of people that use the code word pizza to describe certain individuals, right? And their enemies are Bebop and Rocksteady. Now, Bebop is a certain type of genre of music, right? And Rocksteady as well. Who created that music? What group of people? And look how Bebop and Rocksteady dress. But yet they made them goofballs, not very bright. Go figure. Looks like y'all need to realize who really is the good guy and who really are the bad beings.
People touching shit they shouldn't.
I tell her only partly.
Made by Toys R Us back in 2008. The board came with a carrying case, making it perfect for sleepovers. Made by Toys R Us back in 2008. The board came with a carrying case, making it perfect for sleepovers, parties, the usual. What's better than a pillow fight? Summoning demons.
What the hell?
What the fuck?
Found this crispy fucking thing in the yard. What is that? Is that a fucking squirrel?
It just got weird.
6 beings that are going to come out of hiding after disclosure. Number 1 is Sasquatches. Large communities of them live everywhere in some famous areas of the Appalachians and the Rocky Mountains. Earth is essentially their home. There was a time in history when Native Americans lived symbiotically with them and were very respectful of their communities. But the European colonialists came and forced these beings into hiding. They considered the Native Americans animals and savages and considered the Sasquatches the same. Number 2 is merfolk and sirens. There was actually a time when merfolk tried to have a symbiotic relationship with humans, as they do with all life in the ocean. A lot of merfolk discovered humans, and those first humans were typically pirates. But you know how greedy ass humans do when they come across something they don't understand. They captured them, tortured them, and put them on display, and ate them, which is still done to this day. If that doesn't hurt your heart, you're not human. Number 3 is reptilians. There are so many types, and many of them see Earth as home and are very benevolent. They've been here since way before humans were even around. Some are malevolent from off Earth and have come here for an agenda. Millions walk among us, and many of them are in places that you would never think that they would be at. The malevolent ones have done this on many other planets in the galaxy. Earth is just one that they want. Number 4, werewolves. These are beings that have a mix of human DNA and wolf/wolf extraterrestrial DNA. This allows them to change form, and there's so many tales on them, I don't even have to say none, you already know. They walk among us more than you know because they've been around for a long time. I've noticed that their ability is usually linked to emotion, so it's like they could change form based on emotion a lot. People ask why they don't come out of hiding sooner. You think they're going to be accepted by people? Look me in the eye and tell me the average human is going to accept them. Number 5 is fairies. These are nature spirits who have a long history of being at war with humans since the beginning of human expansion on the planet. It was decided to go into hiding, only interacting with people who are open to them or can perceive them. Number 6 is human-looking ETs. They literally come in all colors of the rainbow. They come in different shapes and sizes, and they're here either because they see Earth as home, they're here for a mission, or both. They look so human, they don't even have to mask anything. Maybe just their way of seeing the world and their personality? They are here to help the consciousness shift on Earth and have been preparing for open contact. They see humans as their cousins, so they already know how we roll, they already know how we do, and they're here to help. Now, we can't say 100% of them are here to help, just as we can't say 100% of anything is 100% of something, but majority of them are benevolent.
Check this footage out, y'all. Crypto University here. This is one of the best pieces of footage that we've been able to get our hands on to show you guys. This is a legit Sasquatch that was recorded on a trail cam. And if you look closely, you can even see the gray on its beard. You can make out its nose and its facial features. Right now, it's just walking through the woods, throwing trees around. Check out that gray beard. You can see pieces of it right there. But
watch what nuts do to our body.
Certain protein can lead, say it with me, inflammation, which is directly connected to diseases, ailments, and premature aging. All the longest lived people on the planet have actually one thing in common, and it isn't
right there, but you're gonna keep watching. You're gonna see most of his face. There he goes. Look at his nose. I'd say this is easily a 8 through 9 footer. This was recorded in East Texas. This is a legit Sasquatch, you guys. Look how wide the shoulders are. Check him out.
Florida continues to be the hotbed of UFO sightings on their waters, literally on their waters or above. This next sighting comes from an unidentified man who sees this weird craft UFO hovering on the water. And they have no idea what it is. It looks like it has like some sort of force field or glow around it. This one's weird. And it's one we have not seen before. Take a look at this. Comment below and tell me what you think this could be.
Looks like the cruise ship flipped over and it's shaped as a fish now.
So I just left Target. I'm doing 75 hard right now. I've been drinking a gallon of water a day. And today at work I went to go open a gallon and there were maggots all under the seal. And there were maggots all under the seal. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's just like a bad bottle. Like, I'll bring it back to Target. But when I went home and drank the other ones that I had already drank, they all had maggots. And like, I've been feeling sick since Saturday. And now I'm like, what if it's because of this? So now I have to go to the hospital because Target sold me water with maggots.
Okay.
I bought some water jugs on Thursday.
Okay.
I drink a gallon of water a day. I always buy them from here. I opened one up at work today. There were literally like maggot eggs all under like the steel cart and like little moving ones. And I went home and I checked all the other ones and they all have them. And I've been drinking maggots for 4 days. And since Saturday, like I'm throwing up and stuff. Like I'm gonna go to the hospital now.
Oh my god.
I don't really know what to do.
Alright, give me one sec, right?
Yeah, I called earlier. She said just to bring them in, but I'm really grossed out.
Yeah, no, okay, just give me 1 second, right? I'm so sorry for that.
And she's like, I shop here all the time. So it's just like.
Your return. Like I said, call them. Don't spend exactly how, like you told me this morning, you open them, you drank them.
And it was just like, there was one part of me that, like, in my mind, I was like, I really hope it's just this one.
Just the one bottle.
But it was all of them. It's just like, that shit made me itch.
Yeah, definitely explain to them what happened, and then they'll make the decision from there at store level, and then we take those returns to the vendor. They're gonna deal with the vendor from this end. But like I said, explain to them and then see where you're going. I'm so sorry about that. You too.
This is so gross.
Like I told y'all, look, that's why I got a link down below. I got a water distiller that I use. It works for me. You don't have to click my link. You can find your own, but mine's works perfectly. But I suggest y'all distill y'all water, put y'all own minerals in y'all water, and stop buying bottled water if you can. Certain situations we're gonna have to do what we gotta do, but we gotta minimize the impact of what's being produced and put out there. That's why I think it's definitely important for us to start manufacturing our own stuff once again, y'all. Y'all get what I'm saying? Like if I started a water distiller company, like which y'all buy from me, we need to get back to that, supporting each other, I'm not saying that I am, I'm just giving an example. Y'all let me know in the comments down below. Like, stuff gotta change.
I am never eating chicken again. You know what? This might actually make me go vegetarian. I cannot believe what just happened. So these are from a very respectable joint. 10 out of 10 chicken wings. Not usually what I go for because the bone and the gristle and the skin. I don't actually eat that much meat, but when in Rome, okay? I'm in Minneapolis. This is pus. Because this whole thing had an abscess. And so when I went to go bite in it, pus shot out from the meat. There's like a cavity left behind where all the infection and the abscess was. So that means that this chicken, let's see, I had a horrific infection at its joint. And all the chickens either look so sickly that it passed multiple levels of quality control and inspection to get to me, or the birds are just like so artificially plumped that they can't even tell. There's a giant, horrifically painful, debilitating abscess at the joint here. And then these chicken wings get sold to a bar in Minnesota and breaded and prepared, and I consumed at least this part of the meat that is infected and disgusting. Here's a close-up of cooked pus. This is what shot out of the side. I mean, multiple tablespoons of this leaked out onto the plate. Wash that down the sink, but here's what remained when I threw it away. It's so disgusting.
I don't know which one is worse. Well, it is worse. The pus and the maggots for y'all. We got to pay more attention. We got to be more conscious of what we're doing. That's why we got to get back to growing our own food. Real talk. We can't depend on people to do things for us. We got to start tapping back in as a community, as a unit. You know, like, I'd be damned if I bite into a piece of chicken and some pus being. I ain't gonna say what I do. We're gonna tear some shit up.
What is up, everybody? We are here at Medieval Times, and we are so excited to tell you about our new show.
We've got new stunts. We're performing new action.
You're gonna see incredible horses. You're gonna see showmanship.
This show features new characters, new plot lines, new twists and turns.
I'm really excited.
Shit up, though. Not that chicken, but I'm gonna tear some shit up. Somebody gonna have to hear me, see me. You feel me? Like, I bite into a piece of chicken and some pus bust out in my mouth. Let's get back to it. I done seen enough. We got to get back. We got to understand, y'all. We got to get back to manufacturing our own things and having control. We are in control of our own health. We can't depend on the system to continue to feed us and feed our children. Most importantly, that's our future. Y'all understand what's going on and how things are passed along, how things change without the adults knowing at school, and then where you get attacked by different angles. There's certain things that shouldn't be in the foods. Certain things that shouldn't be in the school systems. They're feeding us physically and mentally BS, which are propagating division in the communities, pinning us against each other. Y'all understand that? That's what this video was about, man. It's not about, you know, the businesses, the tariffs. People don't understand what's going on. We're being taxed while we don't even tax countries, and now we're starting to, and people have a problem with that. Are y'all good with being taken advantage of? Let me know in the comments down below. What's your thought process?